All right, guys, check it out. We got a pretty interesting topic for today. You know, me and my wife was talking this morning, and she said, you know, you ain't been catching nothing lately. You better ask Chat how to go catch a bass in the fall. And she had this is actually a really, really interesting idea. We're gonna see if ChatGPT knows anything at all about how to select baits for the fall of the year. You know, I'll be surprised if it suggest a bait that I don't have tied on, but if it does, whatever baits it selects, if it selects 3, 4, 5 baits, we're going to tie those 4 or 5 baits on, and then we're going to go out, we're going to see if they're the best baits for this time of the year. We're going to see how it goes. I have no idea, but it's scary to think that ChatGPT can be the one that tells us how to fish nowadays, because a fish is a living being, so it's hard to predict the pattern. So we're just going to see if ChatGPT can get it right. So without further ado, let's ask ChatGPT, Hunter, what we're going to ask ChatGPT right now, exactly what baits we need to fish with in the fall. So let's see how it goes. My wife is a expert ChatGPT user, so we'll see how it goes. Is it ready for me to talk? Yes. All right, Chat. In East Alabama, what are the best baits to fish with in middle of November when it's misty and overcast?
Absolutely. So for East Alabama in mid-November, especially when it's kind of misty and overcast, you've got a few tried and true baits that tend to work really well. First off, think about using something like a spinnerbait or a chatterbait in those conditions. The kind of overcast, misty weather can really get the gas active, and they'll go for something that's got a little vibration and flash. A spinnerbait in a white or chartreuse color can be a really good pick for that. Another one that's kind of a classic is a jerkbait. If the water's a bit cooler and you've got that misty vibe, a jerkbait fished kind of slowly can mimic a dying bait fish and really get the fish to strike. And finally, if you want something a bit more subtle, a soft plastic like a finesse worm on a shaky head can do wonders. It's a little more low-key, but bass on those overcast days can be a bit curious, and sometimes that subtle approach works great. So yeah, those are a few favorites that should give you some good bites.
All right, so we've got a shaky head worm, a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, and a jerkbait. So let's get to rigging. All right, guys. So I already had the Maverick ready, and then obviously keep a vibrating jig, chatterbait ready. So I already had these 2 rods ready, and I was a little bit slacking in the spinnerbait and shaky head department at the moment, actually. So I did not have a spinnerbait tied on. This is actually a cool one. This is a new titanium wire spinnerbait, actually, from Picasso. I think it's pretty cool. I have not used it yet, but y'all know the old school titanium wire spinnerbaits, man, that you could just do all kinds of abuse to them and they just went right back to shape. So we're gonna give this one a try. Now I got the Gamakatsu tricky head with a janitor. So we'll rig this up first. Man, I remember when I was young, this was one of those baits, man, that just stayed on the front deck. Not this exact head, because when I was young, this head, if it was out, I didn't see it. But just one of those baits, man, that you just kept on the front deck whenever I was young. And then now I just don't hardly throw it anymore. So shout out ChatGPT for giving me a little bait to reminisce on. There she is. Oh, shaky worm. Tried and true as it gets right there. I think ChatGPT actually said something about, I can't remember exactly, but said something about a shaky head subtle and tried and true. Or maybe it said a spinnerbait was subtle or a spinnerbait was tried and true. Can't remember what it said. But it said one of these baits was tried and true. It also said specifically in, I think it said muddy water, a white and chartreuse spinnerbait. Well, I'm not fishing much muddy water right now. And I don't have a white and chartreuse one handy. I had to go put a skirt on one. So I just rigged this one up. And there she is. Little green gizzard shad style color. We'll see how it goes. Let's see what we can get into with this right here. All right, there's my 4 ChatGPT rods right there on the front deck. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not expect her, scout, whatever it is. I kind of expected a jig and a buzzbait, to be honest with you. I really did expect a jig and a buzzbait, but I guess ChatGPT does not watch my YouTube videos, so let's roll. All right, guys, we have us a old-fashioned, unfortunate series of events. So check this out right here. I mean, it's always something, ain't it? Look right here. We got a major flat. I mean a major flat tire. And there's the culprit right there. Got me. Got me pretty good. So I think we better find us a plug. Find us a plug and pump that sucker back up, because she ain't gonna make it up the driveway like that. So let's get her fixed up and get to the lake. All right, we are at the small little local lake, and the mist and overcast has kind of left us, but we're still gonna try it. All right, we have made it to the lake, and you know, I'm considering trying to run a pattern and do the things that I feel like would be working this time of year, but ChatGPT knows best. So we're just gonna drop the trolling motor and just cover water and see what we can do. So let's go. All right, I just pulled into a big arm, really, creek, whatever you want to call it. We're just gonna pick up a bait. The conditions have changed since ChatGPT told us what to fish with, but we still gonna try it. We got some. Better turn my trolling motor on. Trolling motor's not on right this second. Now it's on. This lake is low right now, which is interesting because I knew there was something right here, but I did not know that it was rock like that, that was right here. But I did know there was something. Honestly thought it was stump. Well, there are stumps also, but I thought it was just stumps. I didn't know there was all that big rock up there. There's a good bit of, what is all that? That's almost like old dock ties, I think is what it was. I'm gonna be honest, I ain't feeling the spinnerbait in these conditions. Let's go ahead and catch a 6-pounder. One about 4 inches following me in. Oh, there's a nice one following me. All right, let's play Plinko. That's a pretty good one following me up. One of them's gonna choke that spinnerbait in a minute. See what else we can find. I would actually expect to see some right here, some activity. It's a little too windy to see on my eyes, but I would expect to get a bite on this point right here. Major secondary point. Starting to look a little promising right through here. It's almost like the water got a little more dingy. Got one on it. There we go. He ate it good. Little humpback spot. Exactly what was supposed to happen. It's a fun bite whenever you see them come up there and you waking it back and you just see them come get it. That's so fun. There's a reason this is everybody's confidence bait. It still catches them. And it still catches big ones from time to time. That one missed it. I mean, I could see the bottom up there. If he's still there, I'd see him. Still throw my little plinker up there. Had a little bite. It is almost hard to believe just how much. Oh, there's a nice one. Two nice ones. Gosh, come back here. It's hard to believe how much cover is actually under the water in this lake. I fished a lot of lakes where there's a drawdown, and typically when there's a drawdown, there's not much to fish. There's just the bank, you know. This place has a lot. I mean, a lot of cover in it. I just had two. One was probably a 2-pounder, one was probably a 3-pounder. Follow this bait, not get it. Then they came all the way to the boat, obviously, so it was, the gig was up, but a lot of interest in this bait. Oh, he missed it. He bit it again when it hit the water. There he is. I know he's a little spot, but a little follow-up bait. Thought I had a drone coming for me. Look at that. Thank you, chat, for let me reminisce for a minute, because I mean, when I was growing up, that was the bait you did not leave home without. We did everything in our power to figure out how to catch them in it when it was hot, cold, muddy water, clear water. I mean, you had to have all the tricks, because that shaky head was a dynamite fish catcher. And I still throw it from time to time, but I do not throw it as much as I used to. And I caught a lot of good bags on it, like 5 solid fish, you know, come in with 5 over 2 pounds and, you know, catch a big one on it, big giant one on it. That's pretty cool. There's another one. Oh, that's fun. Even though they're little bitty fish, that is fun. I'm gonna get caught in this trap where I just throw this the rest of the day. Not that it's a trap, but I'm trying to see what all Chat offered me up today. That was another time. Just bit a little bit of it off, throw it in the floor of the boat. And you still got, I've still got a 5.5 inch finesse worm right there. This right there is a Crust City Janitor. Oh, there's a nice one. There's a big one. But that is just a standard green pumpkin Crust City Janitor, 3/16 ounce Gamakatsu tricky head. I use a few different style shaky heads. You know, I use different brands, whatever, but the Gamakatsu one definitely has its place. I designed one a few years ago, and it was a great one for skipping around and stuff and throwing in heavy cover. I liked it a lot. I just kind of mix it up back and forth with a bunch of different ones, actually. But man, I forgot whenever the time was right how many bites you could get on this bait. I mean, I've hardly even thrown it today. I bet I made 25 casts with it. Mostly probably because I'm using it as a follow-up bait though. I've had 2 more bites on it that I didn't hook. I feel like a big one's gonna bite this spinnerbait. There we go. There's a nice one. Looky there, looky there. Gotta take a picture of that with my phone. Uh-oh. He's back in the water. What a Jimmy. Let me get my... Got it. Very little largemouth. Oh, I was not feeling this bait at all. Alright. This is just too perfect of a place. Since I've got 4 options, I'm gonna go to option number 3. I ain't behind that. Do y'all ever make a cast and just not bite? Like, I know there's a fish in there. Another one on this bait. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that the spinnerbait was going to be the hardest bait to get a bite on today. It shows what I know. Just shows AI is coming. I really did think it was going to be a tough bait to catch one on. And then that gum fight had a bunch of interest. This is a good cut too. One thing I have noticed though is the most aggressive strikes, like the true reaction strikes, I've missed. And the ones who followed it away for a little while, caught those, except for that first one, which I caught him on the shaky head. But That's how it seemed to me. That one followed it a long ways, and I didn't catch him though. Throw my lope. Man, I had him. Or I had one. Unreal. Also would think it was a little, it's not quite cold enough for the jerkbait to be just the main deal. But I guess one will come bite it. Looks like a prime little jerking hole too. Been catching lots of catfish and crappie on a jerkbait recently, personally. Let's see what we got. Fired old chatterwagon out there. If they're biting a spinnerbait, you'd think they got to bite this thing right here. Same trailer. Yep. I wouldn't really been throwing this bait in this exact situation either, typically. It's another pretty one. I mean, pretty little fish. Little freeloader as a trailer. That freeloader, man, I've caught so many big ones on a vibrating jig or a chatterbait. I mean, so many with that freeloader as a trailer. It's unbelievable how good it is. And it makes your bait track true too. That's one of the reasons I put it on spinnerbait. I really, really like it on the back of a big spinnerbait too, because it just like holds that bait in place. And I mean, it keeps it from like getting out of skew, and it has action to it too. So I mean, it's just kind of a double whammy, to be honest with you. We got to catch a dang jerkbait bass, and then hats off to Chat if we catch a jerkbait bass. I'm telling you, this old pond's been fishing a little tough lately. It's not been just easy. I think we can catch us a jerkbait bass. We just got to kind of pick it up and throw it, you know? Let me know in the comments if any of y'all have ever asked Chat for any bass fishing directions. Because I have not before, but I'm thinking I should have. Start asking them some detailed questions. When I get to the point in the tournament where I've got 1 hour left, how do I catch a big one? Because I seem to get there a bunch, and I seem to catch a big one not a bunch. All right, we're gonna call my wife. We're gonna get her to ask Chat something else.
Hello?
I need you to ask Chat something else for me.
Okay.
Ask Chat what's the best jerkbait cadence and retrieve for this time of year in East Alabama.
Okay.
Because I've caught them on every other bait, but I ain't caught one on jerkbait yet.
Here's exactly what your husband should do with a jerkbait in East Alabama in mid-November. I didn't even say for my husband, but I guess
He knows.
that's crazy. In mid-November when it's misty, overcast, and cool. This is prime jerkbait weather, and the cadence matters a ton. Overall rule, slow but snappy. Water is cooling, bass are slower, but overcast skies make them roam, actively hunt. You want sharp pops with longer pauses. The cadence should be jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, pause.
How long?
Two sharp jerks with a 3 to 5 second pause. One single jerk and then repeat.
How long of a pause after the single jerk?
Let it sit for 3 to 5 seconds again.
Okay. So 2 sharp jerks, 3 seconds, 1 sharp jerk, 3 seconds, and then I'll catch a bass.
Yep.
All right. Appreciate it. Love you. Bye.
Love you.
All right. There you have it. That's all you got to do. We're going to catch a bass on a jerkbait if we do that. I should have got more specific about chatterbait colors, shaky head worm colors, but I'd say it's worked out pretty fair so far. I mean, I have not been fishing long and have about checked off all the checkable boxes so far. So we'll see. Might to catch me about one more on this vibrating jig. Then I might just pick the old jerk and twitch up for a while. See what we can do on it. 3-second pauses. It's a little longer than I normally do. Generally people's perception of time is wrong. They think it's been longer than it has whenever you're doing something like that. So you think it's been 5 seconds, it's really been 2 or 3, you know. But 3-second pause is a pretty good pause. I've heard of people catch them on up to 10 or 15-second pauses, and I have also, but that's a long time to let your bait sit there. That's a good thing about that Maverick though. That Maverick suspends, truly suspends really, really well. So you have to have that whenever you have a bait that you're gonna let pause for a long time. You can't have it floating at all or sinking at all because you'll get hung up. So we got the bait for it. We just got to implement our new strat. Well, I think I'm gonna fire that over this point. Not even scoping or nothing, I'm just gonna throw it out there. All right, I'm gonna reel it down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. That's long pauses right there, son. I'm telling you what. Chat said this is prime jerk and plug time. So we gonna see. All right. We'll return back to that in a minute. Because there may just not be any fish there. You never know. It could be the perfect everything, just no fish. All right. Gotta just try to catch one on the jerkbait. Gotta get a bite on it. 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a big one. There's a big one. I see him just sitting over there. Don't run nowhere. Don't do nothing crazy. Here he comes. He tried to get it and I got hung. Got hung again. Thought I was out. Got him. That's a nice one. I thought he was a 2.5. He is not a 2.5. He's a nice one though. Assuming I got the right one. I think that was him. It looked like him. Looked like he had a bad eye. Boy, I'm telling you what, me sitting here jerking this jerkbait this slow, making me want to just freaking sit down, plane the old icon off, and run about 72 across this sucker for about 10 minutes. because I need to get to moving. I'm trying to be very intentional, and I'm counting in my head. I have to do that at first until I get, you know, make it habitual actually. But everything in my body wants to just jerk this sucker like this, but you can't. Chat said 3-second pauses. Maybe I need to space out my first 2 pauses a little bit. Instead of having them so quick together, I'll just boom, boom, like that. 1, 2, boom. So this is one of my favorite baits to throw this time of year. This is the Maverick 110. It's my favorite color. But today, I am not getting them to bite this thing at all. ChatGPT, you got it right on everything else, but I'm calling BS on this right here, because this ain't happening. There we go. Took a while, but I got one on the jerking bait. I've had a few on this sucker, but I've not landed many of them. Didn't catch him off the bank though. Had to scope him up out there. He was out there in the middle. Trying to catch one off this point and I couldn't. So I just caught me one out in the middle. Little bitty sucker. But we have caught them on every bait Chat said we would catch them on today at this moment. So maybe a jerkbait is a bait they'll bite. I mean, I know it's a bait they'll bite. It's always a bait they'll bite. But man, it was tough to catch one on it today. All right, guys, we are back home now. Obviously fished in the middle of the day in the evening, and surprising results. You know, a couple of those baits I did not really expect to be good this time of the year. Now I know a shaky head will get some bites, but the amount of bites I got on it and the amount of casts I made with it, it was kind of shocking. Like, I caught a bunch of fish on that thing and only probably made 50 casts with it at the most. And then the spinnerbait, something I would have not tied on this time of year. I mean, that spinnerbait's a great spinnerbait. I caught quite a few fish on it, never been out of place, but it's just not something I would have picked up in those conditions. And then a vibrating jig, I've had that laying there. And then a jerkbait has been something that I've had tied on and would have thought would have been the best bait today because the water was clear. And that's the one thing I couldn't get them to bite. And that was kind of the biggest surprise for me. But shout out to ChatGPT. It actually helped me reminisce on the good old days. Because there was a time where I went to that same exact lake and about all I threw was a spinnerbait and a shaky head and even a rattle trap. And now there's 3 baits I hardly throw unless the conditions are perfect for it. So shout out to Chat for giving me a little bit of time to go reminisce on the good old days. But man, I was kind of surprised at how detailed it got. I knew it was coming. I've just never tried to do it myself. So shout out to Hunter for giving me the idea. And if y'all like that video, leave a like. Let's go ahead and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know, have y'all used Chat to help you go catch bass or do anything in the outdoors? Because it's the most surprising to me that it can pinpoint bass, because they're always swimming around. They're always somewhere different day to day. And to see it come up with a detailed report that fast was kind of surprising. But anyways, appreciate it, guys. See y'all.